All right, you're on.
I believe in America.
Americans
Yeah.
made my fortune. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I thought
All
that
right.
I thought it would be nice to start with some Gordon Willis's cinematography.
That's right, man. Yeah, I've got a huge backlight. It looks like a, 70s, cheap Bollywood rip-off movie. So, anyway, man, what's up? Thanks for coming.
No problem, man.
Okay, let me move you to the main screen, man, so I can pay attention to you. All right. Yeah, what time is it
Oh,
over there, bro?
it's 7 something in the evening.
Yeah, it's 11:13 in the morning over here. All right. Yeah, man. Deepfakes, you know,
Mm,
it's been going on for a while. Actually, जब तूने मुझे वो भेजा व्हाट्सएप पे डीप फेक link about Keanu Reeves comment about it, right?
yeah,
I actually started thinking about, all those Bin Laden videos
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
They used to come out with all these videos कि भाई, they got a camera and वो अपनी मजलिस में बैठा हुआ है, वो बातें कर रहा है लोगों के साथ.
Mm-hmm.
And they've recorded him, he's alive or he's like living in some, unknown, origin kind of a country, which obviously is somewhere in the Middle East, right?
Right.
So even then, they used to show that shit on CNN, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even then, I guess it was very blurry, the image. So either they were doing deepfakes or before they discovered deepfake, they were going by the whole prosthetic makeup and all that. Like in some cases, you could see those videos, you can clearly tell that this guy is not Bin Laden. This is some other, you know, dude, जिसको बस वो थोड़ा makeup शेकअप बना के, like one of those like those 90s Hollywood movies where all the terrorists are just like talking in Arabic, and they're all mostly played by like people who are I guess the Jordanian Jewish or Israeli actors or people of Jewish descent or people from Arab descent.
Right.
They can hardly speak a word of fucking English, but they always play terrorists in all these movies, like Back to the Future, True Lies, ये सारी जो movies हैं. And
Yeah.
every time they're talking like hello, blah, blah, hello, 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 they talk like that, right? So it's like it's not descriptive. You can't really tell कि they're speaking Arabic. मगर जिस आदमी ने कभी Arabic सुनी ही नहीं है, जिसको पता ही नहीं है अरबी क्या होती है, उसके लिए it actually makes sense to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not even using real Arabic words, right? I think the first time I heard someone speak proper Arabic was I think in Iron Man,
No way.
the first Iron Man. Yeah, I think yeah. Before that, I never saw like in a Hollywood movie. Yeah, you hear it, and then he will pull out a rocket launcher and he will start with that. You know, especially in Back to the Future. Like I think they call them Libyans or whatever, the Libyan terrorists, but they're not like they don't sound Libyan or Arab at all. Yeah, they look the part, but they're not. So I think um, yeah, deep fakes. I think Tom Cruise वाले देखे हैं तूने deep fakes?
Oh yeah.
They are really good, man. Don't, but obviously उसमें क्या है कि उसमें एक एक्टर है जो मिमिक्री बहुत अच्छी करता है. So he's got the sound right. He behaves like Tom Cruise. He does all the mannerisms उसने सारी कॉपी की हुई है. फिर उसके टॉप पे they actually saw I saw behind the scenes about it कि उन्होंने कैसे बनाया. तो कोई पार्ट टाइम ग्राफिक आर्टिस्ट है, effects artist है, वो is basically working with that YouTuber or Instagram or what you want to call the influencer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what his background really is, but he basically became famous of doing all these Tom Cruise videos, right? तो वो deep fakes जो हैं वो it's a two-man job. So imagine if you got an entire a unit working on it, or thousands of people working on trying to doctor a video. It's not that hard. But there's still something, I guess, I've not seen the new Avatar movies, but I guess there's still something about motion capture. असल में it's all it is basically motion capture, right? If you think about it, a guy, you get him to speak and behave like a certain person, and then on top of him, they put a deep fake.
Mm-hmm.
तो ज़्यादा जो deep fake videos YouTube पे मिलती हैं उसमें क्या होता है कि there already a video exists, it's made with a different purpose, like Seinfeld के जो deep fakes आ रहे हैं ये सारा कुछ, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a very funny one
The Pulp
जिसमें
Fiction.
Seinfeld,
The
the Pulp Fiction one. Yeah, there's so many of them, right? Yeah, the Pulp Fiction Seinfeld one. So I think those ones are kind of, you can tell easily कि भाई इधर fakery है. But if you are shooting with the intent कि भाई मुझे इसका fake बनाना है,
Mm.
then bro, sky is the limit. I mean, look at all the moon landings and all that. Some of them are really weird, definitely.
Oh my God, we're going
um
into moon landing now.
yeah.
Wow, this fast,
नहीं, yeah, नहीं.
this fast.
No, I think the idea of fake and doctoring something has
Mhm.
been there from the beginning.
Right.
Since mankind has come into being, they've always doctored or fake stuff. I mean,
Mm.
it's part of the Ten Commandments, right? Isn't it?
Right.
One of the commandments is thou shalt not lie or something. So I think it's part of life, basically.
Okay.
So I think it's just in terms of technology, just getting better at lying and deceiving people. It's part of the propaganda.
Okay.
Right? So it's just a tool, I think. But the thing is, I guess बहुत जो बड़ी बड़ी फिल्में उसमें एक्टर्स हु पास्ट अवे उनकी उन्होंने डॉक्टरिंग की हुई है डीप बेसिकली डीप फेक टेक्नोलॉजी इजंट इट
What
एंड
was
स्टिल
it?
यू कैन
What
टेल कि समथिंग इज नॉट राइट.
wasn't it that movie, Gladiator? In Gladiator, there
हाँ.
was this actor. Uh, I think it was what
Oh yeah, हाँ 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 ओलिवर और लॉरेंस. हाँ हाँ मुझे पता क्या he
Oliver
died.
Reed.
Oliver Reed. Yeah, he died, and then they had to somehow they
That wasn't
they
deep.
doctored it. It's not a deep fake. It's not deep fake. So they took a video from a different scene and they turned it into an ending because the guy died before they could shoot his final scene.
Right.
So I think they took a scene जहाँ वो क्राउड में खड़ा है और वो क्राउड में खड़े होके वो फाइट देख रहा है जो भी उससे उसने रिएक्ट किया है
Mm.
और रिएक्ट करने के बाद जो है वो इज गिविंग एन एक्सप्रेशन तो उन्होंने
Right.
वो उसको थोड़ा डॉक्टर कर दे डिड द सेम थिंग फॉर द फास्ट एंड फ्यूरियस मूवीज.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last one. I mean, I don't know which fucking they got 10 है पता नहीं कितनी है. But the one with the Paul Walker one.
Right.
उसमें उन्होंने क्या किया है वो भी डॉक्टर्ड है डीप फेक नहीं इन सेंस कि उन्होंने कुछ सीन्स जो पहले शूट किए थे पिछली फिल्मों में वो निकाल के उन्होंने जो है देव repurpose them, I guess.
Okay.
So I think they're getting there, but eventually it will be some big name star who, when they're about, could be Harrison Ford, who
Mm.
basically signed the contract saying, कि भाई, after I pass away or whatever, you can use my appearance to create new properties, and they will pay his family or
But
his estate.
but here's my question: would that be still interesting? Because like you like you're
Hmm.
taking away, you know, what makes life important. The artist important. I think that the artists, if they are they are more intelligent and like kind of understand what's going on, would not want it.
Hmm.
Like, look at what Keanu Reeves is saying. So he's alive and he does not want that. Do you think that maybe someone like Keanu Reeves would be the one? Because I doubt it. I think that it will lead. They don't like what we are doing right now. You know,
Hmm.
we had the conversation.
You could be a deep fake, bro.
I no no no
But
no
as far
no
as we
no no
know,
no. no. What I mean is like before we started this, and you said, "Hey, should we use nicknames?" And I was like,
yeah.
I don't know, whatever you want to choose. But the point is the fact that we are using our real names is to give credibility of our opinions. That's what
Yeah.
podcasting is about. Otherwise, you're just another, some fucking random username on YouTube comments,
Yeah.
or some guy. So or maybe it's a bot. Uh, this kind of gives, oh, there are different kinds of people from different walks of life giving their opinion and you know trying to conserve a little bit of what's left of
Hmm.
humanity before we go into singularity. You know what I mean? So I doubt, personally, I doubt artists would do that. But because then there's no point of an artist to start off with. Like, think about it. If Denzel Washington says, "Hey, after I die, you can put my face and my kids can, enjoy the royalties.
Yes.
Then you're taking everything that Denzel Washington was about and diluting it. It then might as well just have a, AI based fucking character anyways, right? So I think
Hmm.
there would be a divide between reality based actors and AI based actors.
Actors we have. Yeah. Yeah.
Directors. So the way things are going, I've read about. Um, I was reading. Well, I don't read that much. I'm dyslexic, but um, I was reading a little bit about. There are softwares coming out that you can actually create the whole film, just by typing shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so my
Like generative AI art and
yeah,
scripts.
yeah.
There's all sorts of
So,
stuff out
so my thing is that why would anybody want to watch that? Like, I I wouldn't want to watch that, but there might be a chance that people can create stories that need big budgets, right? Just to show, hey, look at me, I can think out of the box. My mind works in these many ways, and my style is so different. Uh, and here's a good idea of what I can do with AI. Now give me some real shit like Nolan, and I'll blow shit up for real this time. So
there.
I think that again, I believe in uncertainty. So I wouldn't say that's maybe it's good, maybe it's gonna be good for us, maybe it's not gonna be good for us, but time will tell. My opinion, legacies will not be left if this thing happen. The human ego would be taken away. There would be no point of ego. That would be the most communistic thing to do. Is like you you can be used after you're dead. Then it's like
Hmm.
a perpetual Marvel movie coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I don't want to see fucking Denzel Washington. I want to see the next fucking whoever is there. I don't want to see fucking something that's made by Martin Scorsese. I want something new. So
Hmm.
I feel that humans, I believe, you know, oh, I hope the humans would vote with their dollars and go with something that's, living than something that's more digital. That's what I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think that so when you talk about AI, you talk about deepfake. So deepfakes or digitally generated faces or whatever you want to call it, the the thing that is powering it is AI, machine learning AI. And I mean, in that realm,
Mm,
there's deep learning. There's so many different things. Even um,
yeah.
I've not read about all of it, but my understanding is this that अगर आपकी एक टेंट पोल फिल्म है राइट जैसे एवेंजर्स ये सारी जो है और उसमें अगर एक एक्टर है वो पास अवे हो जाता है बिकॉज आई मीन इन रियलिटी इफ देर आर पीपल they know in the back of their mind that this person is dead, right? Like, Paul Walker was dead when people went to watch that movie. चाहे वो deepfake यूज करें जो भी करें, people in their mind will be able to tell कि something is off, right? Your mind will not be able to digest that information when you know कि ये fake है, yeah, has been doctored or digitally created, let's just say. Now, आप उसको सुपर रियलिस्टिक बना सकते हैं इन सेंस इफ यू आर कमिंग फ्रॉम अ प्लेस लेट्स से अगर मैं लास्ट ऑफ अस ऐसी कोई गेम खेल रहा हूँ प्ले स्टेशन पे या कुछ है एंड दे यूजिंग दैट टेक्नोलॉजी ओवर देयर टू क्रिएट द मोस्ट रियलिस्टिक looking people in that video game with all the tech and everything, then it's a wow factor. Because if reality is this and you're able to generate something that comes really close to it, like what Avatar is doing right now, right? People know it's fake,
Mm.
but if you can come, it creates that wow factor. But replacing this, which is the gold standard, with something else, then I think most people will reject it. They will say, "Okay, what's the point of watching all this, right?"
Mm.
Unless in Japan they have concerts basically where they have these digital avatars, and they create music, everything, सब कुछ digitally randomly generated है, सारा कुछ, and they have their own fans, एक audience है. So I think definitely there will be an audience for it. Like if you look at kids content,
Yeah.
YouTube पे जो बच्चों के जो ये you know गाने जो होते हैं, Three Little Piggies,
Baby
Monkey
Shark.
jumping on the bed, yeah, Baby Shark, for example. Now, if if you had it created digitally, AI generated, it wouldn't really matter because the kids there, I think I don't think so. It's educational. All it is just keeping the kids' mind flowing. It's all about attention. And if you look at YouTube or you look at any format, any platform, yes, people try to differentiate themselves. Okay, no, I'm giving you healthy eating tips. I'm giving you medical tips, or I'm giving you how to do things in 5 minutes rather than do 10 minutes. Productivity videos.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, there was this book. Can't remember. I can't remember the title, but there's a book by Neil Postman.
Mm-hmm.
Author का नाम है. He has a book that he wrote in which he talks about the purpose of all media is only one thing: to get attention, so they can sell you shit.
Huh.
That is the main purpose. मतलब वो पूरी बुक का वो पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट ही यही है. सो वेदर यू वॉच यूट्यूब, उसमें जितने भी कैटेगरीज हैं, प्रोडक्टिविटी हो, इंटरटेनमेंट हो, जो भी
Yeah,
हो, बच्चों का जो भी.
it's just the modern day hawker.
ये
Sabzi le
करेक्ट, मॉडर्न
lo,
होगा, सब्जी ले लो, हाँ बस वही है. एग्जैक्टली, टिंडे
ande
विक्स,
le lo.
ये अंडे ले लो. So the whole idea is कि you get the eyeballs onto that platform and then you just randomly show them videos, and those videos will along the line keep them fixated to the
Mm.
screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put ads on it,
Got it.
and everybody's making money. So it is a capitalistic system, but how much value it's actually creating, only time will tell. So I mean,
But
television, I think
here's
right now is
here,
creating zero
here's
value.
here's my argument, and this is something I believe to be true. Any system, even if it's not capitalistic, even if it's communistic or communism, it's also based
Or
on.
monarchy.
It doesn't matter. It's all
Yeah,
based on sales because end of the day,
yeah,
from the day we are born,
you're selling.
we are selling some
Yeah,
shit. You know,
yeah,
we are
yeah,
selling some fucking bullshit to our parents, saying, "Hey, Dan, I got,"
yeah. To
you know,
friends, to siblings, the
yeah,
wife, the kids. You're selling all the time. My own kid is now selling it to me, man.
what's the biggest
Trying to manipulate me. Yeah.
the. I mean, before we get into that, I think that since this is the first podcast, what what made you get into this idea, right? Of doing a podcast. Let's just talk about our podcast a little bit and then go much deeper into AI, like the deepfakes. Maybe we aren't real.
Mm. Are we living in a similar reality? Well, interestingly, yesterday I had a catch up with a couple of friends from work, you would say, and हम लोग वहाँ बैठ के ना, they're mostly Pakistani background, right? तो
Oh
हम लोग
my,
वहाँ
yeah.
बैठे थे, and they were talking about कि you know
Mm.
they were talking about this famous YouTuber
Mm-hmm.
in on YouTube, and they were saying कि यार उसकी अपनी बीवी जो है वो डेंटिस्ट है, उसके दांत ठीक नहीं है. And this
Mm-hmm.
guy, like, I mean, kudos to him. He's done a great, amazing job. I mean, उसका जो content है वो मुझे इतना खास पसंद नहीं है. Interviews करता है वो, but he has ended up interviewing Imran Khan now. Okay, so
Got it.
he is now short to stardom basically.
Right.
And उसने अपनी पर्सनल जर्नी भी, I mean, मैं उधर बैठा हुआ था, मैं सोचा था कि यार कि ये लोग से यहाँ बैठे हैं and they're judging someone. So I think it comes with the territory, right? The
Right.
idea of you putting yourself out there, doing a
Mm.
video cast, podcast, whatever the fuck you want to do, and then there's always going to be someone जो उसमें से कीड़ा निकालेगा, right? And I saw it in action yesterday. कि I was sitting there, I was thinking to myself, कि, well, I'm about to start a podcast. what the fuck are these guys going to talk about me, right? When they
Mm-hmm.
find out, I've not told anybody, right? It's just a couple of our mates and you and me. But it was interesting. उसमें एक बंदा था, वो कह रहे थे कि मेरे जो बच्चे हैं, दो लड़के हैं मेरे, and they want to start they want to get on YouTube and everything, like daddy, हमें YouTube करना है. मैंने कहा कि you should
Mm.
encourage them, because getting on that path of creating content and
Mm.
putting it online, in that process they're becoming entrepreneur. The system is going to train them, and the competition out there that exists is going to train them to understand कि भाई, how do you do things for yourself, how do you build things up. बजाय के वो बैठ के वहाँ वीडियो गेम्स खेलें या बोलेंगे जी, ओ हम तो पापा की गाड़ी में जाते हैं और हमने तो यूट्यूब पर पाना है, जस्ट डू इट. So I think the idea of get going, I mean, I didn't have all these tools, so I'm not blaming ke, oh, I could have started early, but I think confidence, and I think the timing needs to be right as well. So we've country hopped all our life. Like I was born
Mm.
overseas, you know, and being born overseas, identity is always, you're always in crisis in terms of what is your identity, right? So when you are actually going out there creating a podcast or a video, whatever you want to do, any content you create, आपकी एक personal stamp उसके ऊपर लगती है. So
Right.
until you are kind of sure, or it's not about sure, it's about embracing the idea of what you are not
Mm-hmm.
rather than what you are.
Right.
I think it's easy to say, okay, this is not what I am. And then things become easier to identify, okay, now because I know कि मैं ये नहीं हूँ, what is that I can actually do with my time? How can I create value? So I think in order to have a great podcast, there is no set formula. I think yes, there are people who have done well in that area, but I think the most common thing that binds all of that together is having that unique voice, having an opinion, having a perspective.
But do you think
So
that having too
yeah,
many opinions are gonna fuck things up?
what do you mean by having too many opinions? You mean having an
Like,
opinion about everything?
like, what everybody's saying right now is that, especially back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, as soon as Trump was elected, right? There was a Bilderberg group meeting. If you know what Bilderberg group is, it's like a group of elites. They meet together.
जिसमें बिल गेट्स वगैरह सब जाते हैं,
I don't know.
पीटर
I
थिल
mean,
वगैरह,
all all
बहुत
all,
है ये.
all the
Yeah.
usual suspects. And so they have a website, and then you can go on the website and see the agenda, like a list of shit they will be talking about. So as soon as Trump got in office, uh, they had I think Bilderberg 2018, if I'm not mistaken. You know, fact check me on that, but there was something called the post-truth world.
Yeah.
So there was a specific, the last one they were gonna discuss Russia, China, and all the fucking economic shit and gender equality, all that bullshit. Um, but then in the end, it was like the post-truth world. So what I'm asking is that back in the day when there was, when there were gatekeepers of opinion, all the big
Mm.
media outlets, right? We were getting a certain kind of information. Everybody used to agree on it. We were more cohesive. Now that there are lots of opinions out there, right? Is it actually good for us, or is it something that was inevitable because it's technology? Or, you know, we should go back to the same thing, which I don't think we will ever. But do you
Mm.
think that good good information will be lost in all the noise too?
I think the power of the internet is that it gives you a mic, and the
Okay.
con of the internet also is that it gives everybody a mic. You know, so जब आपके पास एक प्लेटफॉर्म है, जैसे कि टेलीविजन है, it has this filter system of hierarchy, of caste, creed, and people come from a certain place when they get into television, whether you're in journalism, acting, nepotism, whatever you want to call it. What YouTube does is it allows people like you and me or anybody to come in and just say whatever, voice our opinion. वो अलग बात है कि आप उसको सेंसर कर रहे हैं, जो भी कर रहे हैं, डिमोनेटाइज कर रहे हैं, वो अलग बात की बात है. But the main thing is it gives everybody a mic. Up in that, of course, information is going to drown out, because ultimately, as I said before, I believe that the platform is only do one thing, is to keep you on the platform, whether it's Facebook or whatever. ये सारे प्लेटफॉर्म में क्या है, जितने ज़्यादा ओपिनियंस होंगे, जितनी ज़्यादा कंफ्यूजन होगी, उतना आदमी वो ज़्यादा देर तक वहाँ रहेगा. इफ़ यू कम टू अ लाइब्रेरी and you can get a book that you actually want, you pull it out, you read it, you get the information, you'll not come back. I mean, you'll come back only for things you need. If there is confusion and there's all these books there that 50 things to do that and 10 things to do that, or power now, power tomorrow, do it in atomic habit and small habit, big habit, whatever, right? ये सारे जो self help books हैं, they all sell. If you go on Amazon, you will see we are living in a time जहाँ self help books है वो top sellers है. If you want to actually get a multi-million-dollar best-selling book, just go write a
Right.
self-help book.
Right.
Religion होके ये सब होके भी there are self-help books, right? So I
Right.
think and they're all opinions, how you should live your life. Sleep tonight and wake up in the morning and you will have this, no caffeine, no caffeine workout. क्या कहते हैं, 30-day challenge, 15-day challenge, 10-day challenge, ये diet, वो diet. They're all opinions. In reality, either you think all of it works, or you have to go search for the deeper meaning of things. There is vegan diet, there is keto diet, there is zero carb diet, there is this diet, हजारों diets, right? So I think confusion definitely है, and they're all opinions ultimately. You will find a study that says that climate change is happening. Then you will find a study that climate change नहीं हो रही.
Right.
Right? Right? And then there's so there are three groups now. There's one group that is left, one group is right. There is a group that says we are centrists, when in reality, there is no center. There's only we are undecided. That is what in reality it is.
I think
You can't have both things.
I think I'm of a belief that climate always changes, So
Yeah. So I think the other thing is people are seeing things in a very small time frame. Well, the internet has only come in full force. Even now, not everybody has access to the internet on the planet. तो इंटरनेट तो आपके खाली पिछले 20 साल से मच्योर हो रहा है.
yeah.
तो देखा जाए तो अभी जो इतनी नॉइज है, इट इज नथिंग कंपेयर टू व्हाट द नॉइज विल बी 50 years from now when
Right.
everybody's got internet on the planet. I mean, अभी जियो ने फ्री इंटरनेट दिया हुआ है लोगों को, बट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इकोनॉमीज ऑन द प्लैनेट जहाँ इंटरनेट नहीं है. And बहुत बच्चे हैं, जैसे कि हमारे बच्चे हैं, who gonna grow up to be full-fledged, users of the internet. Not like us. For us, internet came in full force after the teen years. If I had access to YouTube, or those platforms did exist back then when we were in uni, the skits that we were making, we could have posted on the internet and had a whole, by now, I mean, if we had success or if we had continued doing it, it would be a very different world for us, right? So Facebook launched when we were, I think, in uni, and at that time it was only limited to certain schools, and तब तक
No,
सब ठीक था, no?
I
Because
think
they used to do schools only in the beginning. Remember Zuckerberg?
Facebook launched in 2007.
So there you go. It launched 2007, far
Yeah.
out, man.
We
So
didn't
yeah,
have social media.
we
We
didn't
didn't
have
have
social media.
we didn't have
We had
social media.
MySpace था, I think. MySpace, GeoCities, right? तो कहने वाली है कि आपके पास वो प्लेटफॉर्म ही नहीं है. एंड इवन इन द बिगिनिंग जब फेसबुक लॉन्च हुआ था, इट ओनली हैड यूनिवर्सिटीज एंड कॉलेजेस इन द यूएस, एंड देन दे एक्सपैंडेड टू अदर स्टूडेंट्स इन यूनिवर्सिटीज अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. बट यू गॉट सी इट वाज अ वेरी स्मॉल सबसेट. तो कचरा तो तब आया जब it opened up for the entire world, and I think it really took off during the Arab Spring. Arab Spring happened, and that was a positive sign. Okay, but देखो, social media is a place where people can bring revolutions in their country just by using social media, right? They were writing कि भाई हम लोग कल यहाँ होंगे protest के लिए, कल वहाँ होंगे, and now
Only revolutions in the countries that are not Western.
Western, correct? Yeah.
Otherwise,
So
we got a censor.
yeah, we're bringing democracy to your country.
I
And
saw
I
I
think
saw I saw I saw this funny video on Instagram, right? वो भाई वो नहीं होता आपके लाहौर में कौन सा है, लाहौर में कौन सी स्ट्रीट है जहाँ खाना बनता
खाने
रहता है?
पीने से ग्वाल मंडी आई थिंक, ये फूड
गवाल
स्ट्रीट
मंडी,
जिसको कहते हैं।
हाँ गवाल फूड
Yeah,
स्ट्रीट। तो फूड स्ट्रीट में देग लगी हुई है, भाई साहब ने पूरा कैनिस्टर पकड़ा हुआ है, और वो जो निहारी है यानी पाया है जो भी बन रहा था बड़ी देग में, तो वो पूरा
yeah.
ऐसे तेल डाल रहा है ना, तो उधर से पीछे से
Hmm.
आवाज आ रही है, वो ओ वाह वाह वाह, माशाल्लाह इतना तेल, आहा, वाह जी।
अच्छा अच्छा।
और
घी
अचानक
डाल रहा था या वो कोई? हाँ।
घी घी जो भी है। एंड देन एक बर्गर पाकिस्तानी है, जवान कोई लड़का है दाढ़ी वाला, एंड ही इज लाइक, टू मच ऑयल, पाकिस्तान
हम्म
नीड्स सम फ्रीडम, सम डेमोक्रेसी।
हम्म
इतना ऑयल डाल रहे हैं पाकिस्तानी खाने में, अमेरिकन लोग आएंगे अभी डेमोक्रेसी देने के लिए, which I thought was funny. Anyway, stupid, but
Yeah,
whatever.
no, but I think food is another thing, right? I mean, there's just confusion, तो definitely है. There's a lot of information out there. There are people saying any vegetables are healthy for you, and then there are people saying there are studies done that vegetables are not healthy for you, right? घी
But
इस्तेमाल करो, और people are going back to the way things were. People are going back to कि नहीं जी, हमारे नानी या बाप दादा जो थे वो you know इस तरह की कुजीन खाते थे, उसमें घी था, बोन ब्रॉथ वगैरह, ये सब चीजें अब वापस आ
yeah,
रही हैं,
yeah.
right? Dude, the other day I found out, I went to pick up some groceries, and grocery store के साथ ये एक इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट था, एंड उनका बिन भी बाहर ही पार्किंग लॉट में लगा हुआ है, and next to the bin, bro, they had all these canisters of oil that they use for their frying.
Oh my
Bro, it's cottonseed oil. You look at all those, the kind of oil they use in these restaurants, मतलब western countries में, you know, लोग इन चीजों से भागते हैं कि जी वहाँ घी इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, वो दैट एक्चुअली इज गुड फॉर यू इफ यू थिंक अबाउट द काइंड्स ऑफ ऑयल दे क्रिएटिंग,
God.
दे आर फाइंडिंग न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज नाउ। उनका बस चले तो वो जो क्या कहते हैं,
Dude,
जो गंदा
fuck
तेल
it.
जो है वो रिसाइकल हो रहा है,
Just think,
कुकिंग ऑयल रिसाइकल हो
just,
रहा
just
है।
think this way, okay? The amount of horny motherfuckers, okay, in India, Pakistan, and all these third world countries, and the amount of like fucking sexual fucking,
अर्ज,
urge is in that country. Procreate like
the land of the land
nobody's
of the
business.
30-year-old virgin, bro, the land of the 30-year-old
Yeah,
virgin, that's what I call
yeah,
them
yeah.
now, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's true,
whatever.
you know. I mean, people, yeah,
What I'm saying is they have been eating good shit for some time. Western countries, we look at Western countries and like, oh, look at that. वो तो भाई Tim Hortons है,
healthy
we have,
खा रहे
and
हैं,
yeah, I'm from Canada, so we got the Tim Hortons. Like everybody here,
पाकिस्तान में टिम
every
हॉर्टन्स खुला है ना, the line was around the block, bro.
it's insane. But over here, man,
Yeah.
people like especially daisies, that's the only thing that कहाँ भी जाना है रास्ते में टिम हॉर्टन्स पे रुकेंगे, कॉफी उठाएंगे, then they will buy donuts, Timbits, and all that fucking crap,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, it's cheap, it fills the stomach, wah ji
Hmm.
wah, it's amazing,
Yeah.
not knowing the amount of fucking uh,
Sugar.
what's it,
Yeah.
sugar and the amount of carbs they're taking in. And the coffee probably is messed up. Like it's not like good coffee, right? It's maybe
Shit
even
coffee.
has mold. If they don't have mold, it has the chemicals because coffee can coffee
Preservatives.
can yeah, because coffee can have some mold in it. So they put preservatives in it. So these people are just taking all these preservatives and coffee and carbs. And when they get sick, they go, oh, by public health hai na yaar. When you
Hmm.
come to Canada, bro, there's public health, and, and then I laugh. I'm like, guys, stop eating crap. You don't need public health, you know.
Hmm.
But this is how the mindset is. And it won't change. I think, especially since COVID, I kind of am with Bill Gates. Fucking, there's too many people out there, too many idiots. If
Depopulation.
if they want to eat themselves to death, bro, take it. If you want to take the vaccines, take 10. Just don't
Hmm.
mandate it on me, you know? That's all I care. Just don't tell me what to do. You can do what you
Yeah.
want to do. I'm not stopping you. I might criticize you and make fun of you, but I'm never gonna say, hey, because you're vaccinated, I'm gonna deny business so I can, I'm gonna discriminate. I won't do that. It's your choice. You want to kill yourself? Go ahead, man. But don't tell me to kill myself. Oh, sorry, take a vaccine when I don't want to and discriminate me. So, anyways, so the point is coming back to our original point, I completely forgot, was people are generally, what do you say, in third world countries eating good food until unless
Hmm.
the environment around them is messed up with chemical factories. Uh,
Hmm.
so like where I come from, there's a lot of chemical factories that the Modi government allowed in Gujarat. So that made a lot of people sick all the time because there's chemicals everywhere. So the
जैसे
food's
भोपाल
not
में हुआ है.
good.
I mean, Bhopal
Yeah,
not part of
so
Gujarat, but yeah.
just after when it happened in Bhopal, Bhopal said, "Fuck this, we don't want to do this." So all these chemical factories needed a place to go, and the Gujarat government was like, "Bring it on, buddy, give us the money." And they did that usually in a minority location. So it's not gonna be in like Hindu populated location. It's gonna be mostly in Muslim populated locations. And then they get all these immigrants, poor immigrants from Bihar and UP, you know, for jobs. So there's no sense of culture left. So you don't have any culture. So, anyways, the point is most ethnic groups in their own countries have better food than most North Americans
Hmm.
or any Western world country,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they eat at home, they get directly from farm, right? And I just think that uh, eventually this is gonna change here too because people are waking up, right? People are waking up to this reality of what's happening, and they're actively changing. It's like, why are so many people dying suddenly? You know?
Yeah. I guess Westerners जो है वो तो I think have been aware for quite a while. I mean, if you think about the dieting and the whole phenomena of being fit and all that, yes, there is obesity in that area as well. But there are
Mm.
issues like alcoholism hai, and the wrong kind of drug use is there. And I mean, there are good drugs and then there are bad drugs, right? So I think at the moment still there's still use of drugs, predominantly the bad ones. स्पेशली इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया यहाँ मैथ बहुत ज़्यादा है स्कूल्स में है एंड देन इट इज़ बेसिकली स्प्रेडिंग थ्रू आउट द
Dude,
ट्रेडिशनल ऑस्ट्रेलियन फैमिलीज.
they're giving meth prescribed as opioids.
Yeah, yeah,
What the
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
you
yeah,
talking about? So
yeah,
it's
yeah. That's
not the
another
meth.
issue. Yeah. So
I would
you have
rather have.
legal drugs and you have illegal drugs, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So I think that legally also they are still getting people on it rather
S-
than figure out, okay, how can we cure this person from the disease, the mental disease or whatever. They're just putting them on a
s-
different shit
So
lesson.
so the so what is this podcast about? Like, what is it about? Like, what are we trying to achieve with this shit?
At the moment, I think it's just a place. It's just like think of it a tower from where we're just broadcasting, and
Mm.
we're thinking about
Misinformation.
you know a tower that imagine you just in a virtual world we've planted this tower, radio tower, and it's broadcasting openly to everybody. And I
Hmm.
guess you just have to wait and watch what kind of response we get and who's grabbing what information, कहाँ से आ रही है, लोग
Right.
क्या पकड़ रहे हैं, लोग उसको कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं. क्योंकि आई थिंक देर इज दिस entire market that exists that we do not know about. I mean, that's what I think. हम लोग जो overseas जो पैदा होते हैं, like say Dubai born or Western countries में जो देसीज पैदा हो रहे हैं, um, the content that at the moment is coming out of the subcontinent, it's mostly catered towards people who hail from there, not born there. You see, so if you are born overseas, it's a complete different story, right? Because then you are kind of someone who has an ethnic background, but at the same time you're living in this new world where basically your next generation is growing up. So there's a lot of issues that are happening here locally as well. I mean, don't get me started, man, with the whole halal thing at the moment. The way
Go
people
on. What
go
about
about
the
it.
halal thing?
In
What about
Australia,
the
they
halal
have
thing?
in Australia they have two kinds of halal. There is normal halal, okay, which is basically you make the animal unconscious first, and then they
Mm-hmm.
do the zibah, okay, then they slaughter it.
Ziba with hand.
Oh, I think it's not in hand, it's machine, most probably
Oh,
machine,
okay, the
right?
machine Ziba, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one is hand slaughtered. तो अब ये है कि
Uh-huh.
आप गोश्त लेने जाते हैं बुचर की दुकान में,
But
उधर
but do
लिखा
you
होता है
know
कि हलाल.
but
Yeah.
but, but do you know that even with hand slaughtered, they have to make the animal unconscious with electricity.
Well, apparently they're saying कि जो hand slaughtered है vis-a-vis, they, एक तो machine है ना, उसमें definitely unconscious है. The whole idea of the hand slaughtered is that the animal is basically conscious, but it's like a known thing in the country where
Oh.
there are people like जो proper pro, like purists आप कह लो, they go for the
Yes.
they go, the purists, they go for the hand slaughtered, and those
I am
chickens
a
are even more
purist,
expensive. Those animals are
but
more
I'm
expensive. Those
I'm
cuts
I'm a
of meat are more
purist.
expensive. I
I'm
know.
ba- mostly purist. Just a heads up.
Yeah. So I think even in purists also now they are like different. I think
No
people
way.
who just eat off the, yeah, bro, the people who eat off the shelf chicken, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of Muslims within that as well who just go like, yeah, आजकल तो सारा chicken halal है, doesn't matter. Then there are people who go to Muslim butcher shops or the kosher ones to get the meat that they want. ओके, और फिर उसमें भी शेल्फ के अंदर दो किस्म की रखी होती है. एक है हैंड स्लॉटेड लिखा होता है ब्रैकेट्स में और एक होता है
Mm.
नॉर्मल. सो यू टेल मी विच वन इज एक्चुअली हलाल. यू टेलिंग मी बोथ आर हलाल
Okay.
बट वन इज मोर हलाल देन द अदर. इज दैट व्हाट यू टेलिंग मी? लाइक
So
इट्स
what's okay?
ridiculous,
Wait,
man.
wait, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. So
Yeah.
what's the price difference?
Oh, I think $2 more, So like if you get a
What?
whole chicken, yeah, yeah, bro. So if you get a whole chicken for, I don't know, $9 or whatever, this one is like $12.
The hand slaughtered is more
Huh,
expensive.
correct, correct.
Okay.
So you're telling me that one, I mean, there can only be one halal, right? You can't have two. I mean, what are you telling me, that this is more halal than that, or this is? I mean, it's confusing.
So
Think about
so
it.
here's here's my thought. Here's my thought. Because I experienced this in 2014 when I came to Canada, and I was like, what the hell? So that's Hans Abiha. And anyways, and I was like, okay, this is all stupid. But
Hmm.
I've come to a conclusion that there there should be a little bit of diversity in how people see things. So if somebody's okay with machine cut, sure, let them have it. My problem is when the price is so different, it's like I if you're selling me hand cut,
I
then
guess
why
it
am I
takes more
paying
labor.
extra?
Takes more labor because
But
it's not a
but
machine.
so here's the hypocrisy. Are those both meat or both animals given hormones, grains,
Yeah, they are.
are
I'm
they
sure. The feed is
uh,
the same. Feed is the same. The only difference
okay?
is one is a
So,
hand zabi.
so to me, all of that is not halal because it's not uh, they are not
Feed is
raised in a
same.
halal way,
Yeah.
right? So I have a place where I go and buy my meat from. It's basically run by a Syrian uh, who buys it off Mennonites, and it's pasture raised. In that as well, they're different. So there's organic, then there's pasture raised.
Hmm.
So pasture raised is more expensive because they are in the pasture open. It's more work. So the organic one is cheaper. It's like they give organic feed, but they're not. pasture raised. They're still in coops, in like factory style. And then there's the pasture raised, which is like real from the farmers goes and catches the chicken and then they slaughter it. So it's it's always, I think the fact that we have that many divisions in the Western society to choose from, I think it's a good thing. So you can have, hey, if you want to go machine cut, sure, go ahead, machine cut. My only concern is the pricing. Why is the machine cut so expensive than a hand cut when you're feeding it the same and it's raised the same way in industrial way? You know,
I mean, again,
uh,
as I said, I think my understanding either is labor, if it's not labor, or maybe a combination of both. In sense, ke you got this wholesale system, right? The more chickens the more chickens that come to the machine, basically economies of scale. The more they can sell, the cheaper it becomes. Whereas the hand slaughter, they don't have enough to sell to begin with, so the
so
price is
what
going to
you're
be high.
saying is, so what you're saying is most
It's like
Muslims,
organic, yeah.
so most Muslims are really, they don't care that if some robot cuts it and says Allahu Akbar, it's okay.
I think
Some
most
recorded
people
Allahu Akbar.
I think most, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I used to hear. जब हम लोग छोटे थे फुजेरा में होते थे. At that time, that's what they used to say, that the क्या नाम है, the Feroz Al Wadi, the poultry company, used to supply chicken
Hmm.
to the entire fucking country. At that
Yeah.
time, that's what they said, that they have a take. Everybody had a theory. Every uncle that came to our house had a theory how they did it. In reality, nobody knows, right? I mean, dude, for all we know, even that hand slaughter run is a machine. पता चला आपने उस डब्बे से निकाल के उस डब्बे में रख दिया, लेबल लगा दिया, right? And I mean, that's a conspiracy. The other thing is this, right?
It's
I
not a
think
conspiracy.
ultimately, it's not a conspiracy. Ultimately, everyone has drawn a line as to how far they can go in terms of their faith.
Right.
So, there are people,
So
dude,
this
dude,
podcast about faith?
could be. The,
I don't know.
the,
I don't get a straight answer from you.
I don't,
What is this
but
podcast about?
I think it's just conversations, bro. We just have conversations and we record them,
Okay.
and then we see how we go. Because I mean, look,
So
I'm
what is this called?
I think friendly fire would be the best way to go, because there's all these
Why
other
do
ones.
you
I was
why
thinking
do you
lost
want to call
cause.
it?
I was thinking lost cause. That was that I had a name, lost cause. I thought that was a good name, but then I think friendly fire still has that ring to it. Especially if
You
there's
know
going to be
why
more than two people on the podcast.
so I'll give you the background why I wanted friendly fire was because um in 2020 in Toronto, there was this, back in 2020 when all the lockdowns were happening, everybody was at home, nobody was going out. We should all be scared.
Hmm.
The fucking Chinese virus, shit, not the Chinese virus. The virus is gonna come, and is gonna get you somehow.
Hmm.
Uh, and they were these monoliths, those monoliths? They were popping up all around fucking North America in like middle of the desert. So
What do you
people
mean
were
by
not
monolith?
meeting. Like the fucking monolith in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
So there were monoliths popping up in middle of the desert
कुछ
in
लिखा हो उसके
US.
ऊपर?
Nothing. It's just a monolith, middle of the
Are
desert,
you
and all
serious?
the people. Yeah, yeah. So
When?
everybody. This is 2020.
Canada में या
You can
throughout
Google. Yeah,
throughout the states?
just, just, you're in front of a computer. Just Google it right now while I tell the story. So there was this phenomenon of monoliths comparing it to 2001: A Space Odyssey, um, coming out in all around the world, in Romania, in fucking
This
US,
is 2020.
2020. Just write monolith in Arizona, I
Oh yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. They're
Phoenix.
trying to make sense of mystery monolith craze. Let me
Yeah.
screen share, bro. I'll show you.
Okay. So, anyways, so these monoliths were coming up, and
it's got
yeah,
it's got fucking the monkeys from the
yeah,
2000 Space
yeah,
Odyssey. So
yeah,
historians are going to have their work cut out for them when they try to bring sense to the strange cascade that has been 2020. Then came the monoliths.
yeah. That's the one.
Is it
That's the one.
that's the one, is it?
Yeah. So I think what was happening is there was some artist like Banksy, but I'm not. I
Yeah,
don't think it was Banksy, but someone like
most probably.
Banksy that
Yeah,
they thought like, all these people, they're not going to work. Nobody's going to a mall. Everything's closed.
yeah.
So during summer,
Pennsylvania, California,
these,
Netherlands. So and even in Morocco, Finland, Paraguay, Florida, maybe. Alberta, even
yeah,
Australia might. Let's look at the Australia
yes,
one. Oh
yeah.
my God. Fuck.
I don't know
Australia's
how you
first
missed this
monolith
one. Yeah.
appears in Adelaide, engraved in cryptic coordinates. Holy
Yes.
shit. Acha. So yeah, what is your whole idea about it then? Why do you think?
So what happened was, there's a friend of mine who was in Dubai
Hmm,
during 2020 lockdowns. He just couldn't afford to stay there, and I met him in Dubai, and he was a Canadian, and so he came back, and he was like, fuck, we are going in, like it was like an epic summer vacation for him. So he came back and he started meeting his old friends, and what they were doing, they were basically going into parks in the night, taking alcohol, weed, whatever they can, and they used to make fire and sit around the fire and talk shit because they don't have to go to work. The government was giving free money around, take the money, shut the fuck up. So he was like, hey man, I'm back here. If you want to join, we sit down in front of the fire pit.
hmm.
And if you Google December 2020 monolith, Toronto, Humber, you can Google that. I can give you, and
Google
also go here.
Toronto Humber.
Yeah, monolith 2020.
Mysterious monolith appears seemingly overnight uh, along Toronto's shoreline. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, yeah, I was just looking at that one.
Yeah,
And
so this is the one. So this came up, and I was like, dude, I was with my family. I have, 3 kids, and I was like, I never used to go out in the night, or uh, I was just watching the news, like, what the fuck's gonna happen? And this came up, and I was like, dude, New Year's Eve,
उसे
the
टाइम पे
world
भी
shut
लगाया भी
down.
कैसे और बिल्कुल बैकग्राउंड में यू कुड सी द स्काईलाइन इज देयर पूरा सिटी का
Yeah,
पूरा
so
स्काईलाइन द टावर इज देयर एंड
I was like, hey, dude. I called him up like 12 in noon, and I was like, dude, let's do a fire pit close to the monolith for 2020 and see what kind of animals come. I was like, we need to go and see what kind of creatures come out when the government has said, don't go out. You gotta be scared. Oh, the COVID's there. So if you go into the link I sent you in the chat, my Instagram,
या
you can
लेट्स
scroll down. You'll see.
वेयर
So you
अबाउट्स
go down, down, go down more, 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 more. Oh,
ah
you have to
shit
go down. Ah,
gotta
bro.
sign in bro don't
You
have
gotta
it
get your details to Mark Zuckerberg.
oh man I need to yeah I think I'm really removed from the whole social media thing I don't have one
But I think
yeah
you don't need to log in to go down, right?
no now they've made it into that I think you have to That's
Oh
what they've
shit.
done. Yeah. How far do I need to go down? Maybe if I
Just go
can. Oh,
down.
look at that. It won't let me. Yeah.
Can I screen share?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. There
Really?
should be a way. I think so. Yeah.
Are you sure? No,
No? See if there's
I
a
don't
share
think so.
button somewhere on the thing. You being a
No.
guest.
Yeah, I'm just a guest. I'm not allowed. I have my privileges are
If you,
neutral.
why don't you share that
The
image itself?
picture itself. Okay. So,
Yeah.
anyways, this was back in 2020, 31st December. World was going down the shit. We didn't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Hmm.
And I called him up and I'm like, hey, we should go there and check this place out because fuck, I've been reading the news, and these things are popping up all around the world. I want to know what the fuck's going on. So why don't we just do a fire and just hang around there and see the kind of people come out?
Yeah.
So we went there. I even took my 10-year-old with me in the dark of the night, and a bunch of guys, we bought a fire pit and
Hmm.
we lit a fire there, and man, the amount of people there were crazy. A lot of people came,
But okay,
and
so let's get to this,
and
right?
and
So let's get to the crux of it.
and
Why do you think they're there to begin with, and why do you think all these people came? Is it just they
I
came
don't know,
for
but
they just came to take
here
photographs
the
and just to be part of this event? They thought something's gonna happen. मतलब कुछ
dude.
होगा वहाँ?
So, anyways, so we were there, and there were people knocking on it. You know how in the movie 2001: A Space, how the monkeys go close to the monolith and like
Hmm.
they touch it,
Yeah,
you know?
hug it and all
I
that. Yeah,
saw,
yeah.
yeah. So I saw in 2020 bunch of people, modern day primates, with their iPhones, looking at the monolith in the night, you know, and like
It's
someone's
weird, man.
knocking on it, someone's
Yeah,
shaking it.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was so funny. It was hilarious. And I was like, this is fucking surreal. This is like fucking, uh,
It is
am I
happening.
in a simulation
End of
right
the
now?
world.
So I just sent you the link.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody even put the Illuminati logo on it.
Oh my
You
God.
know, fucking
Yeah,
vandalize
yeah.
the
I'll
shit
see
out
that.
of it.
Yeah. Of course, वो तो
And
होना था. I think that was the purpose. I guess if someone is putting it out there, you would expect that.
yeah,
That's the one, isn't it?
yeah, that's what, if you, I don't know if you can zoom in.
Uh,
Ah, shit.
maybe you can. Oh, there you go. It says what the fuck on it.
Yeah, so you see that guy?
Yeah.
That guy he has a lamb on his head, okay? And he's like literally knocking the shit out of it, moving it, and like figuring out what the fuck is this. And this is like 10 in the night.
Did
And they were like maybe around 100, 200 people. Like everybody, people were coming with their girlfriends, their wives, their dogs. They were just, and there was no lights. Okay, this is the part of the park that you can't go in the night, but there were no lights, so everybody was there. And we had a fire pit, and we met a lot of interesting people. And whoever saw this news came to check it out. It was an amazing experience. And then it gave me a thought. I was like, we should do a podcast. And the podcast needs to happen in that specific spot next to the monolith because it has this nice
well, if the monolith is
backdrop
still
of.
there, you can drive up there and we can continue from there.
No, but the idea was that we were losing as we go into being far away. The community is gone. The economic situation of human beings are bad, so that people don't have time to mingle. Like people don't have time to sit around together, have fun. So I thought that there was this age-old way of humans to live, which was, you know, young men and older men and wise men used to sit around the fire and talk about daily shit. Like, hey, what the hell's going on? What about this tribe? What about that tribe? Who's doing what with us? How do we save our borders or, our village or whatever? So, the idea was it's a, fire pit and everybody sits in front of the fire pit. So eventually we should do that. When we get the chance, we should do a fire pit kind of a podcast where we sit around and we, do some tikka and some kebab,
Dubai
put the
style, huh?
chai on the fucking, yeah, put the chai on the ketli and like basically a fireside chat.
Well, if this
Some,
thing keeps going and the podcast finds organically an audience of its own, and we continue to post content, I think I can see a time when I could be sitting there, you could be sitting here with me, and we're doing one in person. So I guess
yeah.
what's your idea about these monoliths, right? I can see कि ये सब silver है, right? Because you got me
I
onto
can,
it now. They're silver, and did
yeah.
anybody ever manage to push them over and see कि नीचे क्या है, or they're just still
So
so
they
hard?
they
Yeah,
come they came in the night.
yeah.
It
You
left in
planted
the
them.
night. So the
Okay.
conspiracies are that the government did it, you know.
Yeah.
The conspiracy is
Or the
like
artist
maybe the
basically
government
wanted to
did it,
bring people together, and he did it because of
or
get people out of their homes.
there might be some rich guy, okay, some libertarian type, anarchist type, and he's like, fuck this shit. We need to make people meet together, and they will defy the lockdowns. There's not gonna be any New Year's Eve. This first time in the world history. There's
Excuse me.
a huge lockdown.
Well, if you look at monoliths that existed not in the movie previously,
Hmm.
like the Stonehenge and all that stuff. So the main idea of monoliths का यही था is to bring people together, like kind of create in some cases create a charter, you know, bring people together. It's like create a community where they are all coming and having a dialogue or agree to something, you know.
Right.
So um, maybe it's harkening back to
I
that rather than क्योंकि अगर वो उसने 2001 स्पेस ऑडिसी वाले दिखाने होते तो वो ब्लैक में रखता, उसने सिल्वर में
Yeah,
क्यों रखे?
but dude,
Yeah,
the best part was I was seeing 2020 A Space Odyssey
it is because
in front of my
yeah,
eyes.
because the idea of the monolith in the Arthur C. Clarke version is that it creates it basically evolution is taking place. People are
Yes.
evolving. So maybe this is also supposed
Right.
to hint at that. So
So I don't know whoever the fuck did it,
yeah,
but it was to
pretty
me
cool.
to see all these humans, all these advanced monkeys
Yeah.
that we are,
Mm.
who can speak, talk, hate,
Mm.
be jealous,
Mm.
uh, coming together and like checking the shit out, and like it was hilarious. I was ecstatic. At the same time, I was kind of scared because I was like, most people will be good here, but then there will be certain people who want to check on other people.
Yeah.
What kind of people are there? Like fucking CIA shit. So I was like, when I saw some white guy standing next to me, drunk and like talking nicely, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my kid away from you. I don't feel comfortable here. I was like,
Personally, I feel that
dude,
there is one among you from the agency, no matter where you go.
mm,
Like I went to the restaurant yesterday, and there was this one person, maybe he was just being a desi. Constantly he was looking at us. But there is one person everywhere. It's like either it's just a paranoia now that when I'm sitting in the car or go for groceries or anywhere I go, I feel like someone's always watching you. And I mean, think about it, right? The biggest employer in the country, in any country, is who? Government.
what?
Government has the most amount of
Okay.
employees, right? So in reality, you know, uh, how many policemen, security men, customs, border security exist out there for the population. So that is external security or security that sits on the edge of these departments, right? Now there has to be security
Right.
that is among you, that is always looking after any imminent threat, especially after the homeland
Mm-hmm.
security or ये सारा जो हुआ है, especially after 9/11 and all that. So
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had, someone sitting there waiting for someone to rock up, when you went to see the monolith.
Yeah.
And even just in general, bro, they're everywhere. Even in, मतलब थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्रीज में भी, पाकिस्तान वगैरह जो है, इंडिया है, वहाँ तुझे लगता है अगर 1 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन है वहाँ, तो तुझे लगता है कि वहाँ खाली 100 या 1000 खाली लोग होंगे इंटेलिजेंस में, हजारों की तादाद में क्या, लाखों की तादाद में होंगे उनके पास. आई मीन द आइडिया इज टू सिक्योर,
Mm.
कीप द कंट्री सिक्योर फ्रॉम देयर परस्पेक्टिव. तो वो लोगों के पास तो होंगे. आई
Right.
मीन इफ यू गो टू यूनी टू स्टडी, out of the 25 or I don't know 60 or 50 professors that teach there, one has to be working for raw, right? If you go to
Mm.
a university in Pakistan, जहाँ आपके पास पूरी यूनिवर्सिटी है, उसके अंदर डीन है, चांसलर्स हैं, पूरा एकेडमिक स्टाफ है, उसमें एक तो बंदा होगा जो एजेंसी के लिए काम करता है, या आई मीन समवन
Right.
नॉट वर्किंग फुल टाइम, मे बी समवन हु passes on information, if to keep an eye, because all revolutions start from universities, especially in the old days. Up क्योंकि social media is a different story, but
No,
but I don't think
but
so.
hold on,
Social
hold
media can
on.
either bring a
So
revolution, man.
what's funny is even this transgender stuff
Yeah,
started in
in
universities,
universities, yeah.
and and it started in Toronto.
Yeah, but
That's
but I
where
think it's a
Jordan
loop, right?
Peterson
So the
came.
internet, the social media or the internet is feeding into the universities, and the university is feeding back into social media. So it's a loop. Everything is a loop. There are all these separate loops that are running. It's like this one great loop, okay? And within that loop, there's all these small loops that are all connected with each other. So I think the idea is everything is connected, definitely. But one loop is maybe impacting the greater loop more than the other. और वो volume, जो tuning है वो change होती है. Like a sound engineer, you have this huge board, उसके ऊपर सारे वो knobs होते हैं. Ultimately recording तो वही चल रही है स्टूडियो के अंदर, right? यहाँ से आप चीजें change कर रहे हो, frequencies change कर रहे हो. So in societies, what government and all this deep state, what they're doing is they're changing frequencies. किस चीज को amplify कर देते हैं, किस चीज को de-amplify कर देते हैं, right?
Oh,
In
you're
in
going
order
deep,
to, yeah,
bro. You're going deep.
yeah. Yeah, but we've been going at it for an hour,
Yeah, but that,
and I think we
so
just hit,
this
we're
was
not even touched.
interesting.
Yeah, we went from what do you call it,
That
deepfakes
that
to halal to halal, from halal to monoliths.
no, but coming back to the point, so my friend was like, "Hey, we should name it Friendly Fire." Like we can say shit to each other that we won't agree on, but we need dialogue.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
we live in a society where I have to not, I have to agree with everything everybody says. Instead of that,
You don't
we
have to
need
agree
to
with
live
shit, bro.
together.
You don't have to agree with shit.
And we should not agree with we should find commonalities between each other. So that's where Friendly Fire came, and you know, so I wanted to do a podcast back then, but I was like, times are too. I was,
Well,
like these things were happening, and I
yeah,
was like too paranoid.
no, but I think paranoia is normal, you know. More than paranoia, I guess some people, even me, right? You have that initial initial fear of jumping into it and get going. The idea of
Sure.
worrying about, you become self-aware, So I became kind of self-aware previously. You, you know, and at the moment, it takes time for a person to embrace, who they are. And I think there is no set formula. We know this for a long time, just from experience of our life, right? अभी आप YouTube पे जाओ, there's hundreds of videos out there कि भाई देखो, you need to have a niche, you need to have a podcast about certain thing, and you start from there. And if you अगर आप YouTube channel खोलते हैं तो you need to have a niche कि भाई cooking कर रहे हो, health कर रहे हो, finance कर रहे हो, like fuck it. I don't know what is what niche, what niche. This whole, I mean, look at Joe Rogan, bro.
Yeah.
He's the standard of podcasting, right? उससे पहले भी पॉडकास्ट थी,
Yeah.
ओके. बट आई थिंक द मॉडर्न जो वर्जन है, अगर देखा जाए,
Mm-hmm.
people are still not doing what Joe Rogan is doing. If I look at what Joe Rogan is doing, जिस तरह के वो क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहा है, या जो टिम कास्ट हो गया, जो दो तीन तुमने मुझे इंट्रोड्यूस किया, राइट? There are people who claim that they inspired from Joe Rogan, but they are not actually doing anything like Joe Rogan. The only thing they've taken from Joe Rogan is the interviewing format. कि आप किसी को बुलाते हैं, आप उसके साथ बैठ के बस क्वेश्चंस आपने लिखे हुए हैं, अब आप वो क्वेश्चंस को यू रनिंग थ्रू देम, tell us a bit about yourself, tell that. Or the other thing is that all these people are interviewing each other. The same person going to that podcast, then 2 हफ्ते बाद उसका वही interview आगे कहीं निकल जाता है, फिर and so on, right? They're not bringing anybody. You know how many people on the internet are? I think there's only less than 1 billion people connect on the internet who are actually on these platforms, or I think about 1 billion. I think, I'm not talking about Facebook. I'm talking about people who actually come and do interviews or they have an opinion. People who have an opinion. Twitter पे तो बहुत है, but and mostly they're probably bots anyway. But I think
Hmm.
that the idea is to bring new people into these conversations, right? So whether
Right.
it be friends, family, colleagues, someone you find on LinkedIn or Facebook, or you went to a party and you met someone and you thought, what, man, that's an interesting mind. So I would like to explore my ideas with them. So I think the idea itself of a podcast should be that you should not limit yourself कि you are this kind of podcast. अगर मैं बोलता मैं financial podcast मैं सिर्फ finance के लोगों को लेके आऊँगा, that's bullshit. If I do conspiracy, everything is a conspiracy,
Hmm.
bro. In reality, everything is a conspiracy, and everything is not at the same
Yeah.
time. It's all about perspective. So I think that you could say, oh, is this unknown origin of a disease that came to our shores, is it really of and no origin? Does it have origin?
The
The
China
China virus,
virus.
as Trump says it, right? And then, I guess again, it goes back to the age-old concept of questioning things. And what you're doing is you're exploring that idea of questioning things with other people. So I'm done
Hmm.
with the whole formulas and everything. I mean, even at work, they tell you, give, oh, you need to behave this certain way in order to climb that ladder. You have to do this. You have to kiss ass, and all these things that you have to do in order to become that career-oriented person. Whether you're a woman or a man. How you should raise your kids. ये सारी चीजें जो हैं, there's a guide for everything nowadays. There's a guide for everything. So I think that if you are
Right.
boxing yourself in, so I think friendly fire was a term that is very accommodating कि आप you can talk about anything, right? I mean, I talked about other names like
Hmm.
Lost Cause and Friendly Fire and all that, or you know, for in a very lame way, Umar Javed experience or something like that, you know, But I was like, nah,
I would have said, fuck
yeah,
you.
fuck that. So I think friendly fire is definitely something that, but but the thing, right? I was also thinking if you bring on guests and you call it friendly fire, the friendly fire podcast, right? What is it about? Is it like you bringing the guests on to actually have a disagreement with them or challenge them? My idea of the word friendly fire has many multiple meanings. That is what makes it interesting. It's
Yeah.
mysterious at the same time as well. So I think friendly fire is definitely a great name.
I
Yeah.
might, I might invite that friend of mine. He's kind of cool. He's into, he's into, he's a free mind, he's a free soul, and he's more into like spirituality and stuff. So I think, it's good to have good to have him on and just pick his brain too.
Why not?
He's a cool
Why not?
character.
हमारा कौन टैक्स लग रहा है, right? And the other thing is this,
Yeah.
that I think the group sessions where we bring our buddies in and our friends in, like how Joe Rogan and those guys do, right? जहाँ वो बकचोदियाँ करते हैं, right? Those, we can call that line of sessions friendly fire, definitely. So, because if I have someone on that, let's say I met through work or a mutual friend or whatever, and I actually want to delve deeper into what they do, they're maybe a designer, or
Hmm.
maybe they work in government, or someone that I think has a unique voice, and they have some
Hmm.
ideas that maybe I can question them on, or they can teach me something. I think that will need to have a different name. I don't know what it is going to be. And I think for the foreseeable future, for the next 50, 60 videos, I think you're stuck with me, I'm stuck with you, bro. And a couple of our friends who will drop in and out. But personally, I think that most people are not into the whole idea of podcasting. Most of my friends that I've asked, they've only talked in negativity about it. not the ones that we'll have on this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about just in general. I went to a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant, I had a dinner with someone, and they were just shit talking about other podcasters that already are established on the internet. So one thing I learned when I read Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, is that as you grow,
Trump,
before, dude,
you
when he
bigot.
became the president, right? I was like, आप गलत आदमी से भी काफी चीजें सीख सकते हैं. And back then he hadn't made all those statements. He just got elected. Like हफ्ता हुआ था, he was in power, right?
Oh yeah, bro. No, I think he made a lot of
No, he made a lot of statements
lot of
while he was battling Hillary Clinton. Yeah,
polarizing.
polarizing stuff, I think. But but I thought he was just doing that so he could come into power. Just shit talking his
I
opponents and
I
everything
was
to come
kind
into power.
I was kind of excited.
Yeah, dude,
I was kind of excited. I was like, monkey, this guy's gonna put a monkey
dude,
wrench
news. I was,
in the system.
I was actually sad, when he, lost. Not because that I, rooted for him something. It's because news was interesting and entertaining when he was in power. And as soon as he left, news just became like, shit. This is not worth watching the news. And
Man, dude, do you know? So I was working with this Chinese director, and we were discussing about some ideas about a movie, and I was like, dude, we should have a movie, a romantic film in North Korea. It's like, no, man,
it's
it's
not
not
gonna
gonna
work.
work. This
Yeah.
and that, right? And during the same time, Trump was in South Korea, and the fucker walked into North Korea without
Yeah,
security,
yeah,
like a fucking
yeah.
gangster,
I saw that one. Yeah.
and went shook hands with the fucking
Yeah, yeah,
dictator,
yeah. The dictator was standing on the other
like a
side,
fucking
was it? I
gangster.
can remember, but मुझे
Yeah,
लगा वो soldier के साथ उसने हाथ मिलाया था
yeah.
उस वक्त. अच्छा अच्छा, no,
No, no,
correct.
no. So they knew he was coming, but he never went with his guards, his security. He
Well,
walked in without
correct.
anybody.
So, as you're saying, right?
That was kind of
Yeah.
cool.
So that's what I'm coming back to. My idea was this: कि यार देखो, you got Hitler, right? Okay, he committed all those atrocities or whatnot, but people still read his books. They still read his work to understand what was going on at that time and everything. You got this guy who is just a troll, a troll president, right? And yes, he has some policies that you might not agree with, the wall and shit, right? Whatever. But the idea is, I don't understand. You telling me that he's worse off than Hitler, was worse off than Pol Pot and those guys. But yet they've written all these pieces of work
No.
that, like Libya, Gaddafi also was a very, controversial figure. उसकी भी green book है, लोगों ने पढ़ी है, right? तो मैंने जब सुना कि भाई, I mean, once he came to power, so to understand him, I had to read his work, and there was all these books that are being published against him. There's all these prominent authors जो किताबें publish कर
Right.
रहे थे that were written against his, presidency. तो जब मैंने आर्ट ऑफ द डील पढ़ी उसमें एक ही चैप्टर है जो रेडिट पे किसी ने बोला कि यू शुड रीड इट एंड दैट पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर इज बेसिकली अबाउट व्हेन यू वॉक इनटू दैट रूम you don't come out of it until you have a deal.
Hmm.
So he's the closer, bro. He's the fucking closer. He's ABC. जैसे Alec Baldwin कहते हैं ना, always be closing, in Glenn Gray, Glenn Ross. He's like that.
Always be closing.
Always be fucking closing, right? So if you think about it, what I understood from that chapter, he said कि as you, in your tier, in your hierarchy in society, जैसे जैसे आप grow करते हैं, you will have enemies that will come into formation. It's like jinns. It's like they'll automatically start appearing. You got people like so I've got a lot of my colleagues and friends who do not know कि हम लोगों ने ये शुरू किया. Can you imagine when they find out? They will have things on their mind, but they'll never say it. Already, when I'm having dinner with them, they shit talking about, oh, that guy has crooked teeth. They're talking about some prominent YouTuber, okay, podcaster. And he interviewed Imran Khan recently, okay, and they said, yeah, his wife is a dentist,
Hmm.
and this guy doesn't fix his teeth. I'm like, oh, what does it have to do with fucking fixing his teeth? People, there are only two kind of people. There are people who talk, and then the people who take action. So I think that we have now finally made that jump. We're now taking action. Even I make 100 videos and has zero fucking views on it. Does not matter. It does not matter. So I was listening to Marcus Brownlee. उसने कहा कि, I mean, you know Marcus Brownlee, right? No. The
No.
he's a, he's he is the one of the biggest YouTubers who does only tech. So he started in his mom's basement. as a 15-year-old, started doing all these technology videos.
Oh,
Marcus
Marcus
Brownlee. So
Brownlee.
I think I
Yeah, yeah. He
mumbled his
follows
fucking name.
my
Marcus.
he follows my business Instagram
There you go. So Marcus Brownlee.
for tech, cause
Yeah.
cause we made a like a meme with the Cybertruck.
Acha.
So we made a meme with the Cybertruck with the Russian arm
Acha.
on it. So he somebody shared it to him, and I think he wanted to do car videos
Uh,
reviews.
he
So he was like, "That's pretty
the
cool."
impression I get of him is he's someone who's passionate, obviously. But the thing is that I saw Ali Abdal के साथ उसने एक interview किया, in which he said, who also is a famous Pakistani British YouTuber. उसने उसको ये कहा है कि all my business model is this, that I make money so I can make better videos, and I want to make more money to make even better videos and even better videos. Make a bigger studio, so studio mein when we do our it's like that's, and I listened to that and thought, you know what, that's a very good business model. Basically, the idea is that you are producing content and you want that content to be better than the content before. So if you look at Joe Rogan, right, he actually invests a lot of time in trying to just वो बंदे को interview करता है, या when he sits down for a conversation वो अपना homework करके आता है. So in a way you're investing in yourself. The more you invest, the more you learn, the more you're better at producing content. So I think the idea is that what I want at the moment is just to put ourselves out there, see if there is a market out there. And I'm thinking someone is going to be listening on the other side to this, what we're talking about, and thinking, you know what, I'm getting some value out of it. Rather than sit there, play a game, I could be listening to this in the background and playing my game. Yeah, he might be, hijacking a car in GTA 5 or whatever, but at the same time listening to us, right? So I think the idea is just to open up the horizons of all these ideas, whether they're stupid, silly, or great ideas. I think the main idea is to bring it to the forefront. जैसे Voltaire बोलता है ना, nothing is more powerful than the idea whose time has come. So I think at the moment there's an explosion of podcasts, the explosion of people. हर आदमी जो है ना दो कुर्सियां डा के और दो क्या कहते हैं माइक लगा के ना शुरू हुआ हुआ है पॉडकास्ट करने. And I think the one who invests the it's a marathon. So the longer amount of time, जितना आपका passion होगा उतना आप वो continue करेंगे. A lot of people probably got into it because thinking they want to make money, which is probably the wrong idea. If you want to make money, there's better ways to make money. Don't start a YouTube channel. I mean, what do I know, right? I mean, that's what my idea was, that, if I actually started looking for a niche, started thinking and calculating in my mind, okay, you know what, ऐसा नहीं ऐसा होना चाहिए, thumbnail ऐसा नहीं ऐसा दिखना चाहिए, मेरा background जोन सा है, मैं भी अपने बच्चे के कमरे में बैठा हूँ, उसके प्ले रूम में ये कर रहा हूँ, आई नीड टू फाइंड अ बेटर रूम, सब कुछ सेट करो, लाइटें लगाओ, कैमरा फाड़ो. आई मीन, I've fall. I think we all have fallen into that trap before, where you want to get everything right before you execute it. So I think that the idea is you're also learning why you're putting all this together. And I'm just done with sitting
Mhm.
around and listening other people's opinions. And I thought that maybe I have opinions of my own, and I want to just talk shit with my friends. That's all I want to do.
Ustan, Ustan, there is no
There is
right,
no wrong,
there is
correct.
no
There's
wrong.
only an opinion.
There's only there's only an
Correct.
opinion.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I think on that note, we'll call it a day. I mean, call it day for me and night for you, bro.
Okay.
And we'll do this soon,
Oh,
and we'll keep it going, bro.
all right, man.
Kudafis.
That's good. And yeah, yeah. Keep
Keep rocking,
rocking.
brother.
All right, buddy. Bye.